Welcome. Today we'll be discussing social studies, my world and community. The purpose of this academy is to inform parents and caregivers about expectations for their children who will be entering kindergarten in the coming school year. The presentations are based on the domains listed on the Delaware Early Learning Survey, which is used to assess all Delaware kindergarten children in the first 30 days of school and taken directly from Teaching Strategies Goals, Objectives for Developmental and Learning. So what is social studies? In social studies, we learn about people and their relationships to others. Social studies areas of study are very interesting and relevant. They include history, geography, anthropology, sociology, civics, and economics. Everyday experiences provide the foundation for learning social studies. Parents can build on children's interests and use them to introduce their children to other places, traditions, and cultures. When children learn about social studies, they learn how people live, work, get along with others, solve problems, and are shaped by their surroundings. So why is this important? As children become aware of the larger world through their understanding of themselves and their individual experiences, they can engage in long-term studies of meaningful topics. Their interest leads children to ask questions, actively investigate issues, and make connections between what they are learning in their daily lives. This process leads children to become researchers and experts on topics related to everyday life. Issues of human diversity can be addressed through social studies as children learn how to live, work, get along with others, solve problems, and are shaped by their surroundings. So what are the expectations for my child? These are 4 expectations in social studies for young children. They evolve from becoming aware of themselves, to understanding other people they know, to people they might not know. They become aware of the changes that affect people and the places that they live, and that people must adapt their way of living because of these changes. Children also develop simple geographic knowledge. As children meet the expectation of these 4 goals, they will be better equipped to be successful in their future studies in social studies and become better citizens locally and globally. So let's take a look at the first. Demonstrates knowledge about self. Young children identify with their age, gender, physical traits, behaviors, preferences, experiences, roles in their families, and possessions. They begin to develop racial and class identities. In elementary school, children understand that their gender is a pertinent characteristic that does not vary depending on their clothes or behavior. Their sense of gender becomes connected to culturally accepted roles and expectations and is more strongly influences their behavior and their choice of friends. They begin to make social comparisons among multiple individuals, as well as reflecting on personal traits of themselves and others, both positive and negative. The children's culture, family, and social settings play an important role in determining the child's concept of self. So what does this look like? Children can identify different unique characteristics about people they meet. They will need to be cautioned about pointing out certain characteristics that might be offensive or sensitive to an individual. But this is a good opportunity for them to express their observations and discuss those characteristics privately. Encouraging your child to explain their observations to you helps you understand their perspectives and possible misconceptions. This is important to stop misconceptions and overgeneralizations as soon as possible. Personal storytelling involving family members serves as a rich source of self-knowledge and helps to instill a child's cultural values. Children will notice that family and friends have the same needs even when they're met in different ways. Children can be encouraged to participate in food and clothing drives to help those who are less fortunate, donating their own clothes that they no longer need. Different types of houses can be discussed. How are also looking at things like apartments, houses, mobile homes, and tents, and how they are alike and different. So how can I, as a parent, provide support? Here's a list of ways you can help your child demonstrate knowledge about him or herself. Your child will develop their own preference for communicating their feelings. Provide multiple opportunities using different forms of expression through art, music, and dance. Make a collection of pictures of adults and children cut from magazines. Make sure to make the collection as diverse as possible. Encourage your child to describe categorizing people based on particular characteristics, such as things like curly hair or brown eyes. Observations can be made during story time and also while watching TV. Point out physical similarities between your child and other family members using photos of family members at different times in their lives. This is a great way to do this. Share family stories and traditions. These could be written down and incorporated into a family storybook. Ask family members to contribute stories and pictures for the book. Take pictures of your child involved in everyday activities. Capture these pictures describing the activity and compile the pictures into a book. And your child should know their full name, address, and phone number for emergency contact. Practice and review this information regularly. So now let's take a look at the second one. Shows basic understanding of people and how they live. Children are naturally curious about other people and how they live. They are very observant of physical characteristics and similarities and differences in homes, family structure, and jobs. Parents can create opportunities for children to explore other cultures by reading appropriate books through restaurants, travel, and cultural community events. Observation and familiarity will lead to understanding and respect for other community members and develop an understanding of how we rely on each other. So what does this look like? As you plan experiences and explorations for your child, think about how your child shows an understanding of people of where they live. This is a list of things to look for. Children understand that people and families are alike and different, that the people have different jobs in the community, and we rely on other people to do things that we cannot do for ourselves. They should notice different kinds of transportation for people and goods. They should also start to develop civic ideas, including rules, cooperation, rights, and responsibilities. This may seem like a tall order, but these facts and values are deeply ingrained into our everyday lives. Children can observe people working in many places they visit in the community, such as stores, the post office, doctor's offices, and hair salons. They see construction workers on highways and farmers working in the fields. Trains, trucks, planes, and ships that carry and bring goods are visible in most communities. Playing cooperatively and fairly is generally expected everywhere we go. We all abide by social and personal rules and are aimed to ensure personal rights through responsibility and respectful behavior. This is modeled daily in multiple situations, and it needs to be pointed out and discussed to develop the concepts and discourage misconcepts. Children observe and discuss likenesses and differences between their lives and the lives of others. Book illustrations can provide a window into homes of people from various cultural backgrounds. So how can I support as a parent? These are some of the suggestions for you to use to help your child show basic understanding of people and how they live. So some of the things parents can do is discuss patterns of life in your neighborhood and community. Point out people performing different jobs and the tools they are using. Allow your child to explore various tools with supervision. Encourage your child to ask people questions about their jobs. Discuss products in the market that have been brought from other climates and discuss how these products were brought here. Involve your child in family discussions and to help them see different perspectives and to see that their feelings and ideas are valued. Explore different communities in either person or virtually. This can be fun education for everyone. Use a different form of transportation, such as a ferry or train, and create posters to show different means of transportation.
All right, let's look at the third part of social studies, explores change related to familiar people or places. Exploring change can be difficult for young children to understand because they focus on the here and now. They must be given opportunities to see firsthand how people and places change over time. These opportunities should be chosen to directly relate to the child. A calendar can be used to help children understand the abstract concept of the passage of time. When they count the number of days ahead to a special event, they are learning about the future. And when they count how many days since something happened, they are learning to think about the past. Children love to hear stories about themselves when they were younger, observing how they have changed over time, not only physically, but by acknowledging the things they can do now compared to what they did as a baby. Likewise, they can be encouraged to imagine what they might be like in the future. What will they look like? What will they be able to do then that they can't do now? So what does this look like? Children can observe how things change over time through seasonal changes, physical growth, and sequential events. They can also observe signs of aging in family members. Children enjoy hearing stories about the parents and grandparents when they were young. These stories build a sense of history, changing times, and human continuity. As children relate these stories to their own lives, they begin to see their role and importance in the family. They will begin to understand that their lives will be changed in the future. Clocks are everywhere in our homes, cars, and communities. Your child will begin to understand that certain things happen at certain times and on certain days. As families communicate daily and weekly schedules and events, children develop an understanding of measuring and using time to bring order to our lives and to help us meet common goals and expectations. So how can parents provide support? These are some ways you can help your child explore change as related to familiar people and places. Parents can provide several pictures of your child and other family members at different ages. Help your child sequence the pictures in the proper order. Create and look through scrapbooks and photo albums with your child, highlighting events, memories, and changes in people and surroundings. Have your child draw pictures of important family and community events and help them to write a brief description of the event. Collect these drawings and review them. Encourage your child to ask grandparents and other older citizens questions about their lives. You can discuss questions in advance to ensure that they are appropriate. It's fun to look at pictures of our homes from the past and see how things that we may not have noticed have changed. Trees and bushes have gotten bigger. There may be a new garage or outbuilding, etc. We can often tell the time of year by the seasonal clues. The fourth expectation for social studies demonstrates simple geographic knowledge. The study of geography helps children better understand the world around them. When we study geography, we not only learn about the Earth's physical environment, we also learn about the relationship of that environment to the people who live there. It is important for children to understand the characteristics of where they live and how that relates to the characteristics of other places. Preschool children often make simple maps to show their understanding of familiar places, like their bedroom, their home, or their yard. These maps may be three-dimensional construction with blocks, sand, or other art supplies, or simple drawings. These experiences with map making help children develop the concepts of representation, symbolization, perspective, and scale. How can you add the use of maps to activities you do with your child? It is important to make children's exploration of geography relevant to their own experiences. Children may draw pictures of geographical places they have seen in person, in video, or in books. They may represent them in sand or block constructions. Your child may point out familiar landmarks or geographical forms when traveling to familiar places. My school is by the lake. Children may be curious where certain people they see on the news, TV, etc. are, and where different products come from. Using a map will illustrate the distances and differences. They may notice maps as you use the GPS system in your car. And Google Maps is a fun tool to use when visiting a new place or a person who lives in a different town, since it not only shows the route you will take, but you can zoom in from an aerial view to see the street view of the actual location. What a fun way to do a quick visit to the Statue of Liberty, the Grand Canyon, or the Eiffel Tower. So how can you provide support as a parent? These are some things you can do at home to help your child demonstrate simple geographic knowledge. Use pictures of various landmarks and geographical forms found in magazines to create pictures and to sort by similarities and differences. Create models and maps of a room, the backyard, or a small neighborhood. Keep them simple. Maps and models of different landforms and areas can be created using a variety of materials. Provide new options and mediums to use. Books are a perfect way to travel to a different place and time. Choose a group of books set in different areas. Use the illustrations to discuss the similarities and differences of the areas and the people who live there. Consider attending a model train show to observe models of cities, neighborhoods, landforms, etc. And try to plan trips to different towns and regions different from your own neighborhood. Point out similarities and differences. Thank you for joining us today. We hope that you have found the information about social studies helpful.